So we are here with Mr. Vishal Patel, Board of Education member, current Vice President of the Board of Education. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. As you know, this is Board of Education bio, right? Something that is kind of came out of the strategic plan. And in the event that people visit our website, they get an opportunity to click on board member images and learn a little bit more about not only you, but kind of what motivated you to run for the board. So thanks for having the conversation.
Thanks for this opportunity to, for me to let people know who I am.
That's great.
What are my priorities. I appreciate that.
Awesome. So why don't you begin by just maybe telling us a little bit about yourself, right? And kind of what led you to, what really motivated you to run for the board and make an impact?
Sure. So, I'm Edison resident for over 15 years now. I'm a tech entrepreneur. I have 2 teenage kids who goes in a high school. They both are in a high school now. And I always believed in, giving back to community. I was involved in community heavily since the very beginning. I was teaching math club. I was teaching skating to little kids.
That's right. You had an education background. I remember you telling me that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I used to be a professor. Like first job out of my college was I was teaching my own juniors. But I always believed in giving back to community, right? And with the board position, I saw an opportunity to make a bigger impact for all Edison students by bridging my tech experience and community passion. It allowed me to do more for the community. And when I ran for the board, I noticed there was something crucial missing in our school district. Long-term plan for our strategic plan for our vision, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm very proud that we have a long-term strategic plan, Vision 2030, right, which guides all of our decisions and keeps us focused on what matters the most, right, our student success.
And what's great about these pieces too, especially you have leadership roles. You understand the whole purpose of having these pieces. It's like a North Star statement where we can look to, hey, what did Board of Education members, community members, students, staff, what did we get together and decide what we value in Edison Township, and how do we act on those pieces? And with board support, it's been, in year one. It's been fantastic. I think you agree. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, I think last 3 years has been phenomenal, right? Since I came on a board, I see we have changed a lot. We have done a lot for the district. Everything from facilities to programs to the culture, like all 9 yards, we have made some changes, right? We have made iterative changes.
So a lot has happened since you first got on the board, right? Not only from projects to curricula to restructuring to everything.
Yep.
What would you say you're most proud of? That maybe something that you were a part of, right? Because you're on a bunch of committees too, which we'll get to in a little bit. But what do you most, if you can pinpoint one or a couple things, maybe you want to share a couple things.
I have a series of things, but because I've been part of finance, curriculum, transportation. Like at any given year, I was part of
as well
food
too.
services, right? 3 to 4 committees, right? But if I consolidate everything, I'm proud of over $250 million in facility expansions that we have done in last 3 years, right? Everything from upgrading our both high school, expanding our high school, adding a gym in all 4 middle schools, right? Adding a new school like Edison Success Academy, right?
Exactly.
Who imagined we can start a new school? And all this facility expansion allowed us to offer more opportunities for our students, right? We are starting new academies this year, right? We are starting 14 pathways next year. And some of the things are coming from the family feedback, right? Where I remember when I got on a board, families wanted AP classes in the freshman year. Now we are offering AP in a freshman year.
Which is unbelievable. And again, that came out of not only Board of Education discussions, but community discussions, and you kind of look at where our administration, right, and our teachers everybody kind of came together on those components.
Correct.
So it's been great.
Correct.
It's been great.
So I'm excited. It's a laundry list of things, but I think we have done a lot, so I could not miss anything.
I agree. Right. If you take a look at how, the momentum's been going, and none of that happens without community and board support, as well as a pretty good team that we have behind us as well.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. if you were to, now I'm going to ask you to foreshadow.
Okay.
Next 5 years, right? What do you hope to see in Edison Township if you were to have a crystal ball and say, you know what, I'd love to see this in 5 years, or expand upon something that we've done. What would you love to see?
I mean, you know me, I'm a result-oriented guy.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna put some metrics. Right, I like to see our district recognized as a top school district in a nation. Right, not just in a U.S. News ranking, but also in acceptance rate with the top universities, as well as success our students achieve in the career outside. Right, and most importantly, I want our families to perceive Edison education as the same thing as graduating from top Ivy school.
Yeah.
And opening the same door as Ivy League degree opens for the students.
It's great. It's great. Oh, you always have lofty goals, and you are a metrics person, right? You write it down, you measure it, and you verify too, right? That's some of the things that's great. That's great.
Yes.
And you talked a little bit about families and community members too, and it's what we've talked about over the course of the last couple conversations with board members is the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes, right? So you're on multiple committees. Vice President is involved in, discussion about agenda preparation and those pieces. How do you balance Board of Education duties, family duties, right, and work? What's the secret recipe for that?
I think I would say discipline, right? I'm good with time management. So I plan my day. My day is driven by my calendar, as we have discussed in the past. Yes. And I have set priorities, right? You may have heard the story about you have a jar and you have a ball, right? So I prioritize my health, my family over anything else. Then I prioritize my profession, and then I prioritize Edison School District volunteer role. And depends on what day it is and what's taking priority. I plan my calendar. Yeah. But it's a balancing act. It's not easy.
Tough to do, right? Especially making sure that you got time for yourself.
Correct.
Right. Wellness, family time, all those things are important.
And could not do it without the support of my family, right? My wife, my kids, they all support what I do, and it makes it easy for me.
It does. It does. Tell me a little bit about what's your favorite part about living in Edison Township? If you were to pinpoint something that I love this community. You obviously serve it,
right?
So what's your favorite part about living here?
I think my favorite part is diversity, right? We have a diverse group of people who has a different background, and yet we come together. And I'm not reliant on just my ideas and our board members' ideas. We get a lot of ideas and suggestions from our school district. Which allows me to bring up those things to you, and sometimes I tell you I heard it from the community. It's not my idea. So that's the part I like. Right, we have a diverse group of people who are very intellectually capable to help us shape the future of our students.
When you take a look at that, and that's representative of our board too. I mean, we have a very professional board of education that is forward-thinking, results-oriented, and is focused on accountability too, right? I mean, these aren't, pie in the sky ideas that we just kind of float out there. We measure them and see how they work and constantly iterate. And that goes to not only the Board of Education leadership, but the board as an entity itself too.
Right.
So you talked about your family, you talked about your children and that they're students, right? If you had to give, if you were able to walk into one of the schools, whether it's an elementary, middle, or high school, and give students advice on their future career or something about their schoolwork, what advice would you give to kids nowadays?
So I would not, let me tell you what advice I would not give. Right? I would not give advice of education, right? Even though we are in education industry, right? One of the things that concerns me is the rapid pace the world is changing, right? With AI and technologies rapidly changing, industries. I'm concerned that we are preparing students for yesterday's opportunities.
Sure.
So I would boil the advice down to the foundational pieces. What doesn't change is your work ethics. What doesn't change is your discipline, right? So I would advise students to have atomic habits, right?
Yeah.
Where
Exactly.
you do same thing, every day, and you build upon it. You don't have to make major changes to progress in your life. If you make 1% change in little things across the board that you want to achieve something, over the period of the time, that change will accumulate and it will come out to be a drastic change that you want to see, and you will achieve your goals.
Yeah. And that goes with repetition, and that goes to goal setting, all those durable skills.
Correct.
That are necessary to survive in the workforce.
Correct.
Regardless of the job.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Right.
What's your proudest moment as a board member? Is there something that I know you talked a little bit about some of your accomplishments. What kind of gets you out of bed being every day and attending board meetings and watching emails and getting information from me, and what do you love about it?
I think what I love about is impact I can make with every single decision, right? I do understand every decision we make impacts thousands of students differently, right? And finding the solution requires real teamwork. So that challenge gets me out of the bed. One of the proudest moment recently happened. I remember when I got on a board, I was in a library. I talked to one student. He was a freshman in JP, and I said, and I have a habit of asking students, like, what can we do better? Like, what do you like about the school? What do you don't like about the school? And he goes like, I don't use my bathroom. Can you do anything about it? And I said, why don't you use bathroom? He goes like, because I smell drugs and I'm afraid of getting exposed to the things I don't want to get exposed. And it worried me. And I think we had numerous conversations.
We definitely
right?
did.
I ran into the same student last month, and I asked him, how are the bathrooms? Do you still not use a bathroom? And he was excited, and he goes like, no, I use a bathroom. They are more cleaner. He learned about the sensors we put in. He learned about the additional security. So the moment, it took us 2.5 years to get there.
Sure.
We explored a lot of different things along the way.
Absolutely.
But that was an exciting moment, right? Something that started at the beginning of my career, board cycle. And this year I saw that fruits of it coming true.
Right.
Full cycle.
And that goes to the process that you described before in how you approach pieces. And that connection between your position in your job and your focus on leadership, and how that helps you in your current role right now. Yeah.
Those little things that matters. We have a lot of big things that everybody speaks about.
Well,
but the interaction with the student was.
It shows that you made an impact on a kid's experience in school, right? Which is why we're here. That's why everybody does what they do.
Exactly.
If you were to pick a committee, like what's your favorite committee? Like, what do you love? Committee work. You've been on a bunch of committees. What's your passion?
I like strategic planning. I like to plan and execute, right? So I don't worry about my goals every day, but I do like to make a goal, once a year, and then have a process defined and follow the process. I know we don't have any committee for that,
right?
And that's why I get involved in finance and curriculum across the board, because it allows me to make sure that we are following the strategic plan that we have. Maybe we should have that committee.
It's actually not a bit. Well, and it's always a good process. You think, we do it through our board retreat. We look at our goals from last year and we measure them, and then we go and we set new ones moving forward.
Board retreat. Those are the favorite part of my whole year.
All right, that's great. That was a good time.
Because we review the goals, like how did we do, and then we set and devise the goals for next year.
Now, it's a really good process. And cohesion amongst the board too, right? It just focuses us on what's important at that time.
Yeah.
As we kind of come to the end of our time, is there anything that we haven't touched upon in our conversation today that you think the community would like to know about you? It could be something personal, it could be something professionally, it could be something that you'd like to see come about. Some closing comments for our listeners.
Well, firstly, I want to thank you everyone for trusting me with this responsibility. I see the biggest change in our school district as a shift in a culture, right? So when I came on a board 3 years ago, I saw a real communication gap between the school district and families. And now I see communication flowing both ways. when I came on board 3 years ago, I saw there was a fear of change, among school district, administration staff, teachers, and now we are offering new academies, new sports program. We are embracing new innovation, and honestly, I feel like there's an excitement in administration, staff, and teachers about these changes. And this transformation happened because of your voices, your feedback, and your partnership. I'm committed to listening to you and working tirelessly to make sure every student in our school district gets an opportunity that they deserve. Together, we are building something special, and let's keep moving forward together. Thank you.
That's awesome. I'm with you, and I agree. Without great culture, nothing happens. So,
correct.
As always, pleasure speaking with you. This will be living on our website for people to learn a little bit more about you. That's
Thank you
great.
so much.
No,
I appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome.